Welcome. My name is Melissa. I'm a grants associate at the Edmonton Community Foundation. In this short presentation, my colleague Dave and I will walk you through the community grant program, including key information about fit, eligibility, and the application process. We'll also share some practical considerations and tips so you can feel better prepared. Meet some of my colleagues. This is Serena, Dave, and myself. We help steward the grant review process, and we support organizations with their applications, reporting, and we also provide feedback calls if you are unsuccessful in your grant application. We look forward to meeting with you. You can visit our community grants webpage at ecf.ca and just scroll under the grants header to learn more about our community grants information. This is a great resource. This is where we include information on our guidelines. We'll post this recording. There's information on our reporting as well as important timelines. Also, our contact information is on this page. So I want to give you a bit of an overview about the Community Grants Program before we go into details. So this program supports charities in our community across all sectors, including health, human services, education, the environment, and arts. We run two funding cycles each year, one in spring and the other in fall. Funding is flexible and it can support things like renovations, equipment purchases, program supports, operational costs, and more. So am I eligible to apply? Applicants must meet all three criteria. One, they must be a registered Canadian charity or other qualified donee. An example of a qualified donee is a registered journalism organization. They also must be based in or serve the greater Edmonton area. This includes the four surrounding communities, Parkland County, Sturgeon County, Leduc, and Strathcona County. For national charities, they may apply when they demonstrate a strong local connection, such as sustained operations in Edmonton, locally or Edmonton area, locally based staff, and board members. You also must be in good standing with ECF, with no outstanding or overdue final reports. This includes those from partnership or collaborative initiatives. And organizations can submit one application per calendar year, as long as their previously funded project is completed, and this includes the final report is submitted. It's up to you to choose whether you apply in the spring cycle or the fall cycle and choose the timing that best aligns with your project or initiative. So can I apply if I'm a nonprofit? This year, ECF will integrate resources from our former BIPOC grant program to strengthen support for initiatives that advance equity and inclusion in Edmonton area. As part of our commitment to equity, ECF will prioritize partnership applications from nonprofits serving Indigenous, First Nation, Métis, and Inuit, and racialized communities and equity groups. So how do partnership applications work? Registered charities can have up to one active partnership application open at a time and can reapply for another partnership when the work has been completed and the final report submitted. This would be in addition to having an active community grant for their own work. If the application is successful, the registered charity will receive the funding and is responsible for allocating to the partner organization. The registered charity is also responsible for reporting and sharing relevant project updates with ECF. So what amount can I apply for? If your organization hasn't received a community grant in the past 5 years, you're eligible to apply for up to $50,000. And if your organization has received and completed reporting on community grant within the last 5 years, you're eligible to apply for up to $80,000. In terms of how much to request, we always say ask for what you need to complete the work. Your budget can also include administrative expenses. So a quick tip we like to offer is that focused applications tend to be strongest. Make sure there's a clear connection between the main purpose of your request and the budget lines you include. If there's many budget lines and the connection isn't clear, an application may be a bit muddy or hard to understand the full intent of the work. Now let's talk about timelines. Community grants aren't tied to a specific calendar or fiscal year, and your timeline should reflect what's needed to achieve your impact and complete the work. It can run up to 18 months. And just a reminder again, it's up to you to decide when to apply, whether that's in the spring or fall cycle. So, community grant funding is quite flexible, and there are four main categories of eligible costs: existing program costs, new or expanded, capacity building, equipment, or renovations. I will go through each of these in just a little bit of detail. Existing program costs are available for organizations with operating budgets under $8 million. This covers expenses tied to your ongoing programs, things like salaries, materials, operational needs, and accessibility supports. New or expanded programming is very similar. It also can cover costs to develop a pilot or evaluate new programming or to grow something you already offer. We do encourage that if you're proposing something new, you'll want to make a strong case for how the initiative will continue beyond the grant period. Capacity building. This supports efforts to strengthen the organization or sector. It could include consultant fees, training, technology upgrades, or work related to collaboration and community engagement. And equipment or renovations covers purchasing specific equipment or making physical improvements to your space. Pay attention to the grant start date, as we do not permit retroactive expenses. So approved expenses need to be incurred after the July 1st for the spring cycle and January 1st, 2027 if you apply for the fall cycle. There are also some activities that aren't eligible for community grant funding. I'll highlight a few examples here, but make sure to review the full list on page 3 of the guidelines. Fundraising events such as tickets, raffles, auctions, or tournaments, or annual fundraising appeals. Travel outside the greater Edmonton region, including the 4 surrounding communities. Capital campaigns and purchase of land or buildings, however, renovations are fine, as we touched on. Conferences, annual events, or other celebrations are not eligible. Grants primarily benefiting individuals, such as scholarships, bursaries, gift cards, things like that, do not fit our criteria. Initiatives that don't have a specific benefit to Edmonton area or the 4 surrounding communities. For faith-based organizations, funding can't be used for activities that require religious participation or for religious education. Faith-based organizations can apply if they can demonstrate how their initiative is open to all community members, regardless of faith. And national organizations, again, have to demonstrate the strong local connection. Again, this is just a summary, and be sure to have a full look at the list on page 3. Let's walk through the timelines. What to expect as your grant application moves through the fall cycle. Friday, August 14th, Stage 1 applications open. The deadline to apply is Friday, September 11th at noon, and late applications aren't accepted. In October, grant staff review Stage 1 applications. About 30 to 40% will be shortlisted to Stage 2 in mid-October. Stage 2 means successful applicants will receive 6 to 10 additional questions that will be added to your application and shared with our volunteer committee members. Stage 2 allows you to share more detail. Stage 2 deadline is Friday, October 30th at noon. In November, our subcommittee volunteers meet and review those shortlisted applications. Final decisions are then announced in December. We encourage you to sign up for one-on-one feedback calls with grant staff if your application has been unsuccessful, and that information would be emailed to you. I'm now going to turn over to my colleague Dave. He's going to do a short walkthrough through our online granting portal to give you a bit more of a feel of our application process.
Hi everyone, I'm Dave Chown on the grants team, here to show a little bit on how to use our Smart Simple platform to apply. Most importantly, you're welcome to visit ecf.smartsimple.ca to log into our system, or at the upper right-hand corner, there's an application portal button as well that you can select. If you are new to using this system, you're going to need to click the register button to log in. The system is connected to the Canada Revenue Agency's list of registered charities. So only registered charities are going to be able to submit applications in this system. If you're partnering with a charity, they'll be the ones logging in and actually submitting the application before the deadline. When registering, it's important that you use your organization name through a couple different variations. If you're having trouble, you can reach out to us at the grants team at grants@ecf.ca, and we can help you register if you're having trouble. Sometimes organizations that have recently registered aren't showing up in that register listing, and it takes a little extra time. The other thing is when you click register, you're going to want to make sure you select the organization button in order to access the community grant application. So here I am logged into Smart Simple. The community grant application, if you haven't started it, there'll be a button in this box right here where you can select community grants to open your application. If you have one in place like I do, you can just click the draft application down here and it will take you to what's been submitted so far. I'm going to hit the open button. The first stage here is just to confirm the contact information that I've entered in the system, as well as if you want to invite a collaborator. So if you're a registered charity and you want to invite someone in your department to contribute to the application, this is where you would do it. If you're applying in partnership, this is where you would add the nonprofit contact so they can make changes to the application. Please keep in mind that only the registered charity can submit the application at the end of the day. So I've added Melissa's information in here. I'm going to click the invite button. This will send Melissa a link to this application. If she hasn't registered, she's going to need to register in the Simple system as well. And that information is part of the email. There's the application information. It's important to read this in full and select the boxes that you have read it and you understand the terms. Our application is pretty straightforward. This is where you would have the chance to enter your information. We have questions about timelines, the scope of your grant, how much money you're looking for, some concise descriptions. This amount here is the amount you're requesting from ECF. In this case, I'm putting $40,000. I'm going to click Save Draft. Our application does have autosave enabled, so changes should be saved as you move from section to section. I would recommend saving your responses in another document as well and clicking Save frequently. Going to go into the budget tape phase here. So this is where you're going to be entering your information on your budget. We have some brief advice on what to do. There's an online video for more information specifically about this in the application. To access your budget, you're going to hit this budget button right here. Our budget allows you to I'm going to expand this a bit further, break out revenue sources. So this is the 40,000 that I entered in earlier. It's auto-populated as long as I hit save. And this is an opportunity for me to list other revenue streams for this particular project or program or organization. So if I wanted to add a bingo revenues or some sort of other grant application that's pending, this is where I'd put it in. If it's pending, I would make a note of it right here in the column section. I'm going to delete it right there. As for expenses, it's important to break it out line by line and add sufficient detail. If you need a little more information, you can expand the boxes. If there's parts of your budget that aren't relevant to the project, I would just ensure that everything that you list on this document, on this budget is relevant to the project and mentioned somewhere in the application. It's common to have administrative expenses somewhere in the 10 to 20% range. You can even list what admin consists of. So for example, in this case, this might just involve technology. Another thing that's important to consider in the budget is what portion or what parts of the budget would ECF dollars be applied to. So in this case, I'm going to just marking this that this is the budget line that ECF budgets are covering. Always important on the budget slide to hit save as much as you can. There's another section here where you can add additional context to anything in your budget that you feel is appropriate. A lot of our word responses do have a word cap, so please be concise and direct in your responses. And finally, before you attach, we are going to ask for the financials from your organization for the most recent fiscal year. So if you are applying in partnership, we'll want to see the financials for the registered charity as well as the nonprofit society that's applying. This has just been a really quick intro to our Smart Simple system. I'm going to flip back to the presentation. Submitting your application. So once everything is filled out, including the financial statements that you need to attach, you'll be able to hit submit. Just want to remind you that the system won't let you submit if any of the required fields are missing. So it'll be important to double check every field of your application. The deadline for submissions for this round is going to be noon on September 11th, Mountain Daylight Time. So please plan ahead. Best not to leave till the last minute. If you need any help or run into technical issues, that's where you're going to want to call our grants department. We're here to help. You can also find the full list of application questions and guidelines on our website if you'd like to review them in advance.
Join our grant teams for an informal drop-in session where you can explore your ideas and get personalized feedback, find out what matters most in the application review, and connect with others and learn from your peers. These sessions run from August 11th to September 3rd. There's 4 sessions in total, and they're offered online and in person at various dates and times. So visit our website to learn more and register. So this concludes our brief presentation, and we hope this information helps you feel more ready to complete your application.